Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chill English, the place where you learn English in the most gentle, clear, and comfortable way. My name is Quinn. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that almost every English learner has faced: how to speak with more confidence. Maybe you felt your heart racing when you had to say one sentence in English in front of the class. Or maybe you froze up when talking to a foreigner. You know you can speak. You've studied vocabulary. You've studied grammar. But when it's time to open your mouth, everything in your head just disappears. You sound unnatural, your voice shakes, and then you think, maybe I'm just not good at learning languages. But the truth is, you're not bad at all. What you're missing is simply confidence and a few right strategies to practice. When it comes to confidence, many people think it's something you're born with. If you're bold, you'll be confident. If you're shy, you won't. But in language learning, confidence is not a personality trait, it's a skill. And skills can be trained. You don't need to become an extrovert. You don't need to have been talkative since childhood. You just need to create a practice environment that works for you. Be willing to try, be willing to make mistakes, and slowly get used to the feeling of speaking. Confidence in English doesn't come from knowing every single word, but from accepting that you're not perfect yet and still daring to communicate. One of the most important things to build confidence is to change how you see mistakes. Many learners are afraid to speak English because they're afraid of grammar errors, afraid of mispronouncing, afraid of being laughed at. But you know what? Even native speakers make mistakes. They stumble. They use the wrong words sometimes. The difference is they don't stress about it. Meanwhile, we learners judge ourselves too harshly, and the more we fear, the less we speak. But if you see each mistake as a step forward, you'll feel much better. Because after every mistake, you learn something new. You fix one weakness, and next time you'll be stronger. A small tip to overcome the fear of mistakes is to start with safe conversations. You can talk to yourself. For example, when doing chores, describe it in English. I'm washing the dishes now. The water is warm. The soap smells good. No one is grading you. No one is laughing at you. Or you can record your own voice and listen back. At first, it may feel awkward, but little by little, you'll get used to it. Listening back helps you realize how much you're improving, and that's extremely powerful for building confidence. Another way is to find friends who are also learning. When you speak with them, you'll feel more relaxed because you both know the feeling of being shy. You can practice by asking each other simple questions like, "What did you eat today?" Or "How was your day?" And gradually move on to more complex topics. What matters most is building the habit of opening your mouth, because confidence can't come from just studying theory. It must come from real experience. Also, remember that confidence doesn't mean speaking super fast like a native. Many beginners think fluency means speed. But the truth is, speaking slowly, clearly, and understandably is far more important. Listeners will appreciate clarity and confidence in your words, even if you're not fast. And when you allow yourself to speak slowly, you'll feel more in control and less stressed. Imagine you're telling an interesting story to a friend, not taking an exam with a strict judge. Just shifting your mindset like that can make you feel so much more comfortable. To speak English confidently, preparation also matters. Preparation here doesn't mean memorizing a whole speech and repeating it word for word. It means preparing building blocks you can use in conversation. For example, You can get ready with some familiar openers like, "Hi, nice to meet you. How's it going?" Or, "I'm learning English, so I'd love to practice with you." When you have these ready in your mind, you won't stress too much when starting a conversation. It's like having some tools in your pocket. When you need them, you can pull them out right away, and that takes away a lot of pressure. Besides that, preparation also means vocabulary. You don't need to learn thousands of new words at once. Instead, focus on the words and phrases that relate to the topics you often talk about. If you usually speak about work, learn the basic vocabulary of your field. If you like to talk about hobbies, focus on words related to sports, music, or movies. With the right vocabulary, expressing yourself becomes easier, and your confidence will naturally grow. Another secret to building confidence is practicing pronunciation. Not because you need to sound perfect, but because when you know you're clear enough to be understood, you'll feel more secure. You can practice by listening to a short clip from a podcast or video, then repeating it. Pay attention to how they stress words, how they pause. Even if you don't sound exactly the same, as long as you're close and clear, people will understand you. And being understood gives you a big boost of confidence. Beyond techniques, your mindset plays a huge role. Many people think before speaking English, "I'll probably make mistakes. People will judge me. I'm terrible at this." These thoughts are like invisible walls blocking your progress. Instead of thinking about failure, set small goals. "I'll just say one simple sentence," or "I only need to share the main idea, not be perfect." When you lower the pressure, it's easier to start. And once you start, you'll realize speaking isn't as scary as you thought. You can also build a daily practice habit. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day, stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself in English. You can retell what happened today or share your plan for tomorrow. Seeing yourself in the mirror helps you get used to speaking out loud. It may sound simple, but it's surprisingly effective because it makes speaking English a normal, familiar activity instead of something scary or strange. An interesting thing is that confidence in speaking English is like a muscle. The more you train, the stronger it gets. Just like push-ups make you stronger, every sentence you dare to say is a workout for your confidence. If you don't use it, it weakens. Every time you speak, even just a short line, you're training your confidence muscle. Over time, you'll feel stronger, braver, and more excited to try instead of avoiding it. Another key factor is your environment. If you only stay in a Vietnamese-speaking environment, you won't have many chances to practice English. So create an English-rich environment for yourself. Listen to English songs, watch movies with subtitles, join online study groups, or even just change your phone language to English. The more exposure you get, the less strange it will feel, and the more natural speaking will become. A very important point for speaking with confidence is your attitude toward the listener. Many learners focus too much on themselves. Am I pronouncing this wrong? Do I sound bad? These thoughts only make you more nervous. Instead, shift your focus to the other person. Think, "I'm sharing an idea with them," or "I want them to understand my story." When you focus on your message, you worry less about being perfect. And when the listener nods, smiles, or responds, you feel an instant connection. That naturally makes you more relaxed. Think back to when you speak Vietnamese. Do you ever stop to ask yourself, am I using the right grammar? Of course not. You just focus on expressing your thoughts. It's the same in English. The most important goal is to be understood. A short, simple, clear sentence is much more effective than a long, complicated one that you struggle to say. That's why you should aim for clarity and flow, not complexity. Listeners value sincerity and natural communication more than fancy words. Sometimes confidence also comes from small nonverbal habits. For example, your posture, your eye contact, or your smile. When you stand tall, look at the person, and smile, you instantly create a positive impression. People will notice your energy more than your language mistakes. And when you receive positive reactions, you feel even more confident to keep speaking. So remember, confidence is not only in your words, but also in the way you carry yourself. You can also build confidence through small successes. Set goals that are within your reach. For example, this week your goal might be to greet a stranger in English. Next week you can add one more question, like, where are you from? Or, what do you do? These small wins are like bricks. You place one brick at a time, and gradually you build a solid foundation for confidence. If you try to jump straight into a 15-minute conversation with a native speaker, you'll likely feel disappointed. But if you take small steps, you'll see real and lasting progress. A very useful trick for boosting confidence is using filler phrases. When you don't know what to say next, you can use expressions like, well, let me see. That's a good question. Native speakers do this all the time. These fillers give you extra time to think and make the conversation sound more natural. Once you get used to using them, you won't feel pressured to answer immediately, and that will calm you down a lot. In addition, make use of body language. When you forget a word, you can use gestures. For example, if you forget the word circle, you can draw a circle in the air with your hand and say, like this. The listener will understand. In real communication, people don't rely only on words. They also use eye contact, gestures, and tone of voice. Once you understand this, you'll feel much less pressure because you'll realize you don't have to be 100% perfect to get your message across. Another key point is repetition. The more you expose yourself to speaking, the more natural it will feel. If you practice just a few minutes every day, after a month you'll notice a big difference. If you join a few short conversations with friends every week, after a few months you'll feel much more at ease. Confidence doesn't come in a single day, but it will surely come if you keep going. When people think of confidence, they often imagine it as a locked door that's hard to open. But in reality, confidence is not something mysterious or far away. It's simply the result of small habits built over time. Every time you dare to speak, even just one short sentence, you lay down another brick. Every time you dare to make a mistake and correct it, you lower the wall of fear. And one day you'll realize you can hold a conversation naturally in English without your heart pounding like before. One great way to nurture confidence is to make English a natural part of your daily life, not just a study exercise. You can whisper to yourself while cooking, "I'm cutting some vegetables." Or when walking, you can think in English, "The weather is nice today." You can write short English posts on social media or tell a little story in English to your friends. When English becomes a natural part of your daily routine, it won't feel strange anymore when you open your mouth to speak. Also, remember that confidence doesn't only come from skill, but also from patience with yourself. Some days you'll speak well, some days you'll feel clumsy. That's completely normal. Even native speakers sometimes stumble or explain things unclearly. So don't be too hard on yourself. If you make a mistake, treat it as a chance to improve, not a failure. When you treat yourself with patience and kindness, you'll feel much lighter. Another factor that helps you maintain confidence is joy. If you treat speaking English as a heavy obligation, you'll get tired and lose motivation. But if you turn it into a game, an opportunity to explore, you'll enjoy it more. For example, you can watch a comedy and mimic the way the characters speak, or listen to songs and sing along. You can join online conversations where people laugh and learn together, even when they make mistakes. When there's joy, it's easier to keep going, and persistence is exactly what builds lasting confidence. One interesting thing is that confidence in English can spread into many other areas of life. When you dare to speak and communicate in a language that is not your mother tongue, you start to feel stronger and more willing to take on other challenges in life. Confidence is like a flame. The more you fan it, the brighter it burns, and it will light up corners you never thought of before. In the end, remember that no one is born confident in English. Even native speakers need many years before they can speak their own language fluently. So why should we expect ourselves to be perfect in just a few months? Confidence takes time, practice, and experience. If you take it step by step, don't fear mistakes, keep your joy and stay patient, you will definitely get there. And one day, you'll smile when you look back at the time you used to tremble out of fear of speaking English. In that moment, you'll realize that the journey of overcoming fear is what truly matters, because it made you more mature, more patient, and stronger. English is not just a language, it's a bridge that leads you to confidence within yourself. All right, that's it for today's video. I'm Quinn, this is Chill English, and I wish you all the best on your journey to mastering English. See you again in the next video.